Hey, baby, so listen, I got a word for you. Listen, baby. It is time to stop thinking that people are just mad, they're just angry. You have to understand that we have people in this world who are evil, okay? Some people are evil, okay? They have a spirit in them, okay, that they don't know they're possessed by. See, the Bible tells us that we don't fight against humans, but we fight against spirits and principalities, right? In high places. And so you have to understand that when a person has been through even like traumatic experiences, okay, they come from, let's say, a household of toxicity, okay, or they've experienced, some violence in their community, right? Or let's say they are just used to being around people who are gossipers, they're used to being around liars, they're used to being around people who steal, they're used to being around people who are literally just manipulating and gaslighting and getting over on other people, right? You and the one is not being able to take accountability for their actions, right? If we could all agree, right, that no one is perfect, right, and we all make mistakes, right, so that means that there's going to come a time where everyone is going to have to take accountability for their actions, okay, their blind spots, okay, their biases, okay, we all have them, right? No one's perfect. So therefore, if you're dealing with people who are unable to do that, you have to get to a point where you realize this person is evil. Okay? Evil. Okay? When someone does something, okay, that they know is wrong, okay, that's literally going to affect someone else, and they have no sympathy, no empathy for that person, okay, you're dealing with someone who constantly keeps telling you that they're going to change. You're dealing with someone who constantly keeps telling you they're not going to hurt you anymore, and they continuously do that. Okay, you have to get to a point where you realize, okay, this is evil, okay, working against me. So, in that realization, what do you do? If you say you love yourself, then you have to separate yourself from that. Getting to a point where you begin to put yourself first and you begin to stop people pleasing, okay, is going to be a pivotal moment in your life where you begin to be stretched. And the reason why you're being stretched is because you are now separating yourself from evil. See, God is love. God is pureness. Yes, you go through challenges and you go through different things within this life, but it is all to propel you forward. It is all love. It is all to build capacity in you so that you will be able to have discernment to distinguish, okay, right from wrong, good from evil, okay, so that you can build capacity, so that you can be able to persevere and overcome adversity, so that you won't psych your own self out, so that you won't throw yourself off your own square by choosing to run from challenges, okay, when it's really there, okay, to propel you forward, when it's really the gateway, okay, to your next opportunity. Okay, so you are in situations sometimes not to run but to endure. Okay, endurance, perseverance. Okay, it is all a part of the journey. Okay, but the key is not understanding when you are sabotaging yourself, when you are people pleasing, when you are allowing yourself to call something what it is not, because you won't acknowledge that this person is evil, because you won't acknowledge that you love yourself more and you cannot tolerate someone who is not choosing to love themselves, because how people treat you are a representation of how they treat themselves. So when you get to that point in your life, okay, and you are able to say, like, look, I love myself, okay? And because I love myself, I can no longer tolerate this level of dysfunction, this level of evilness, okay? I have chosen to love myself. And because I've chosen to love myself, it has separated me from those who have hurt me. We have to call a thing a thing. Like when someone is operating in a certain spirit, in order to cast that spirit out, you have to acknowledge it. You got to acknowledge it. Okay? Get thee behind me, Satan. Okay? I will not tolerate that. I know exactly who you are. Okay? Sometimes you got to look the devil in his eye and tell him, I know exactly who you are, and you have no reign and no authority over here. Okay? You have no reign, you have no authority over here. So if you're not going to show up correct, if you're not going to go clean up your heart, you should stop messing with me. Okay? Because my power, my tenacity, my capacity, It's love. Okay, and love is a commitment, meaning love never ends. Okay, it has won already. So I don't know who needed to hear this, but baby, it's time for you to call that evilness what it is so that you can separate yourself from it. Okay? That is what we do when we continue to elevate. That is what we do when we continue to embark on reaching the highest expression of ourselves. That is what we do when we say we're going to be authentic. That is what we do when we say we're standing on business. Okay? We call evil out. Okay? And we do not tolerate it in our space nor in our energy. Okay? Because energy is one thing that cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred. So therefore, we don't match energy. Therefore, you can't transfer no negative energy over here because I do not accept it. I recognize it for what it is and I call it out and I tell you to get thee behind me. Okay? So in this season, we not overlooking anger. We not overlooking jealousy. We not overlooking the things that we see show up in people over and over and over again. The war is not against people. It is against spirits and principalities. So we're calling a thing, and we're continuing to operate in our love energy. Okay. It's a new season. It's a new day. And you are already on that journey. Okay. You're already on that path. You are on that high frequency. Stay in vibration. Okay. Truth, love, and transparency always coming from your girl. Go on with your day and remember you're big blessed. But until next time, you stay in peace and not in pieces. Up here. All right. Cheers.